Welcome back to TUGS Mysteries, a series where we take a look at the loose ends of TUGS and talk about what could have been. Today, I'll introduce another special guest to discuss a very special piece of TUGS media. Introducing A1 Pacific, the creator of the TUGS Big City port game on Roblox.
Hello there. It's nice to come aboard and talk about the mysteries surrounding this little franchise.
Today we'll be talking about the hidden away version of Warrior, where it was originally at the length of 22 minutes. In 1988, after Sunshine, Pirate, Regatta and Munitions were edited for their VHS releases, Warrior, High Winds, High Tide and Quarantine were due next for editing. Around this time, plans changed to edit them up to 22 minutes. We do know this because of both this workprint of Warrior and a timing sheet for High Winds. Since High Tide and Quarantine were due to be edited around the same time, it is naturally assumed they were edited to that length as well.
However, during post-production in December 1988, it was planned for episodes to be shortened down to a 15-minute runtime. Despite this, a divide would be created between the existing 22 edits and the new 15-minute cut-down versions. Episodes such as Upriver were planned to have 2 versions made, but with budget constraints, only 4 of the aforementioned 20-minute episodes officially made it out onto home media.
Despite this, a VHS tape of an incomplete version of the 22-minute version of Warrior, then called Warrior's Longest Day as per the picture book version, was produced internally, likely as a trinket from production. It was given to TUGS the exhibition sometime in the mid-2010s, where it was privately screened in 2016, with unfortunately no one being allowed to take pictures or videos of the workprint. Despite that, in the early 2020s, a description of the Warrior workprint from a testimony from one of the private screenings would leak. This detailed exactly what was present in the video. Despite that, however, fans would not know what it would look like until 2022, when in October, TUGS the exhibition would do a VIP display which had a monitor with the workprint on it, alongside a workprint of Trap and the UK version of the sizzle reel. Unfortunately, the audio for the workprint was exceptionally quiet, so there's still a lot of guesswork and interpretation of what happened in the video.
Fans were delighted to finally see various deleted scenes from the episode, at the time only being available via the slightly different versions of these scenes in the photo book. These scenes were the Zip Zug and 10 Cent Strength competition, Top Hat criticizing Warrior, and Big Mac's barge resurfacing. A few never-before-seen scenes were the opening to the episode, where Warrior and Big Mac have a little chat by the coal yards, a montage of Warrior making deliveries, and a gossip scene between the Zeds about Big Mac.
All of these were either completely shortened or axed from the 15-minute cut, and it's unknown what scenes would have not been present if there was a standard solid 20 cut. The workprint also had a temp narration done by Chris Tulloch, the art director of the show, who also actually directed the episode itself, which might explain why he might have kept a VHS copy of the workprint. Apparently all of his lines for Zoran were re-recorded for the final 15-minute version, as apparently when he says the line, "Get lost, Izzy," he sounds a lot more wary and the line delivered more funnily. As mentioned, unfortunately, only a few of Tulloch's temp work is heard in the video recordings. This is done by increasing the audio volume, and I do not recommend any of you in the audience to attempt to do this for yourself for hearing concerns. That being said, there's also a few other line differences in the workprint, namely the Coast Guard's last line to Izzy in the episode. Instead of saying a hefty fine, he actually says to fine Izzy for $500. There's also missing visual effects in the workprint, with chalk lines being present on the screen to signify a fade or visual effects. Also, fun fact, in the Warrior Barge montage scene, deleted stock footage of High Tide was used. It doesn't show much, but it's something worth noting about. There's also a shot of Grampus underwater, being the only time we see Grampus in a third-person point of view underwater, showcasing his full model. What's funny is that this defining shot from the workprint might have actually originated from the filming of Quarantine. In the shooting schedule of the episode, it lists the underwater rig with the Fulton Ferry and Grampus being planned to appear on filming. One could argue it might have just been B-roll they wanted to shoot, but however, personally, it would have fit really nicely in the scene of Grampus resurfacing to say the ferry is fairly leveled.
Right, leave it to us. We'll want reports from you later.
She's lying fairly level on the sandy...
The deleted scenes show a more in-depth look of how the characters view Warrior and his clumsiness. Sunshine is more forgiving towards Warrior, much to Top Hat's annoyance. Speaking of Top Hat, His view that Warrior should be sacked from the Starfleet shows that he is still in his judging and rude phase of his character. After the course of Top Hat's character arc, he is nicer and compliments Warrior for his heroism in, for example, Big Freeze. Another dynamic in this episode is Warrior and Big Mac. With the establishing scene, it is clear that they have a brotherly bond. The two harbor tugs go through a subtle 3-act start, climax, and end between the two. Starts off with them as per usual, but things are shaken up when Warrior sinks Big Mac's barge. Big Mac later sees Warrior redeeming himself by saving Izzy, and all the tension with Warrior is resolved. Sadly, with the 15-minute cut, most of these scenes were left on the cutting room floor. The intended character stuff with Top Hat was ultimately axed, and we were left with an episode that seemed like it had much more going for it.
Overall, despite the fact we don't 100% have the Workprint, it's still a neat piece of TUGS history. While it may never resurface and due to the exhibition's unwillingness to share it publicly, I'm still thankful we have snippets and part of it of all. Hey, A1, wanna say anything else before the video ends?
This episode, even if some may say it's a bit boring, has a lot of trivia with Cardona's writing. Could have had a lot more fun character arcs and dynamics if it was released as intended. Still, it is a great episode with fun action and an entertaining plot.
I 100% agree with you, A1. Thank you for coming aboard for this video. Go check out A1's Roblox game, and don't forget about Tencent's Harbor Adventures. As stated before, it's a really good fan series. So please give Zuggy and A1 some support and go check out the series. Anyways, this is SonicWalle, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye!